Friends, today on Belonging in Classrooms, you are going to get to hear from Mr. Teigland. Let me tell you, he is the third grade teacher you wish you had in third grade. He is fun. I have had the incredible pleasure of joining his classroom, but it's not just fun. It is fun, high expectations, seeing students. And the moment I stopped in and visited his room, they were deep into a conversation. I can't even remember what the topic was, but the ideas were going around and everything else. And I had some teenagers there visiting Laney, and they were like, that classroom is the classroom I wish I'd had when I was in third grade. So today we're going to talk about how Mr. Teigland sets up his classroom, what he does, what he keeps in mind when he's talking to students when they've made mistakes, what he thinks about, what motivates him, how he thinks of his students and his families, what keeps him going, and a little bit about how to set a family table. I cannot wait for you to listen and learn from him today on Belonging in Classrooms. Scott, thanks so much for being here and Belonging in Classrooms. I'm glad to have you.
I am thrilled to be here, just to learn more about the podcast, and then to tell any stories that I might have from being a third grade teacher over at Lucy Craft Laney.
I mean, how long have you been teaching third grade?
I'm kind of losing track. I think I started in 2010, so I'm kind of in that 14, 15 year range. So I've been with Lucy Laney the entire year, or the entire career.
Yeah.
First year was fifth grade, and then I told my principal, I was like, I gotta get out of fifth grade. You gotta put me with a lower grade level. They're just a little too much extra for me.
Yeah.
So he bumped me into third, and then I've been in third for the rest of the story.
Okay, did you, because you and I know, for those of folks who are listening, who haven't had the incredible gift of walking in the doors of Lucy Laney, did you find Laney using your values, or did Laney find you? Like, how did that happen for you?
Well, I graduated from the University of Wisconsin Superior, and then I did some distance learning. So I had some experience with MPS during my student teaching, and then I was just, plugging my resume out, and it was like a week before school was about to start that a position opened up, and I got my information into him, and I got a phone call, and I think it was a Wednesday, and got interviewed Thursday, and then got you're hired on Friday, and you're starting on Tuesday. So there was no onboarding. It was just like, show up. We'll have a room for you, or a spot, and that's kind of how it worked out. I think it was. It's been a perfect match. I don't know how exactly it's all happened perfectly, but yeah.
In my head, I had this this long series of values because the way you teach and the way you set up your classroom exemplifies to me the values that I see at Laney.
Okay.
Right?
Yep.
So what is the most important thing for you as a third grade teacher? Like, what do you value the most?
I've had my son in my classroom, and I think that's kind of what changed, not in my classroom, but in my school. So we took him out of our district that we currently reside in. And so when I was, after I got stepping on my toes for the first 3-4 years, and then my son was there, and I just started to want to make sure that I would treat everyone as if they were my kids. And then I think that's kind of changed me in the way how I kind of go about my business, or how I speak to certain situations that, some teachers just might take a little bit of a hard line approach to it. But, I'd always want my son to get second chances and more second chances, because I know, growing up, we're all going to make mistakes, and we're told we have to fail so we can grow. So I just wanted to make sure that I just show the kids that I love them, and that I am going to kind of, I'm going to hold you to the high standards, but at the same time, there's a good chance that we're all going to fail, and it's not a big deal. Just learn from it, and then let's move on. And I think that's kind of how I've developed my
style?
My style, per se.
Because your classroom feels, when I walk in and I talk and sit, I came in one day and you were all in the middle of a heavy conversation, right? Your classroom feels fun and safe and interesting.
Yep. Yeah, and I think that's developed over the years. I mean, I would say the first couple of years, I was still learning, and it was like, yes, we have to make sure that we get 30 minutes of literacy and 60 minutes of math and science, and then I think one year it kind of started to dawn on me. I was like, well, I'm not having fun anymore. And I was starting to walking out of the school at the end of the day with my head down, going, it's just not working. It just doesn't feel right. So then I was like, you know what? I think what I need to start doing is just making sure, did the students, are they smiling? And we're smiling when they're smiling all the time when we're in the gym or we're playing games in the classroom. So I just wanted to make sure when we are doing literacy or math or whatever, that we try to make sure that we have a smile on our face. And it's been working out pretty well. And then I do talk about my heart in my head, as far as when students are not doing the right thing and they've been told it's just you're breaking my heart. So I want them to develop some sort of empathy for myself and how hard it is for a teacher to manage 24, 30 kids at a time. And I thought the best way was not to come at them and try to not yell at them, but just get them to understand that I am working my tail off every day, and I'm trying to do my best, and I fail as well. But I need you to feel when I am hurting and a lesson doesn't go right, or something didn't work out the way I wanted to. But we're here. We're going to be moving on, and as long as we're smiling, we're having fun. I do have an active classroom.
You do? Yes.
So, every day we try to get into the gym. If we don't have gym for our specialist, or if we have music or art or somewhere we're not getting that movement throughout the day, because we only have gym 5 times out of a month. So it was been my goal to either in the spring and in the fall, we're getting outside, we're going to the playground, and then I'm just not that teacher sitting on the side of the playground. I am the teacher playing tag and running up the playground or the slide. And
it's true, I've seen it.
And then you really get to see their smiles and, running from me, or just, and, in the wintertime it gets a little tough. But I mean, today, so we have indoor recess. So this gym's getting taken. The gym teacher's got his space. So today we're going to run up the stairs and we're going to run back down. So it's not that much fun, but it's surprising how much fun the kids have just running upstairs and running them down. So movement has definitely been a big thing for my classrooms.
Yeah. I didn't realize that. So for people not from the Midwest, indoor recess are the days. Oh, they are the days. So you, just to clarify, you not only had a holiday party today where they had sugar, and you add that on top of indoor recess and a day off school tomorrow. It must have been a loud afternoon.
Let's say the full moon too. I don't know. I'm not a scientist, but barometric pressure, full moon. There's been a lot of things this was a really tough week for me, by the way. Monday and Tuesday were horrible, but you show up every morning and it's just smile on your face, greeting everybody at the door. And Wednesday got a little bit better, and then Thursday was just a lot of extra stuff. We had National African American Parent in the school today, so we had a lot of parents in the school. So that's always good to see because I always get to see former student parents.
Yeah.
So a lot of hugs and a lot of, oh, Mr. Teigland, and you're my favorite teacher. And this is coming from the parents too.
Yeah.
So it was a big week, and it's only 4 days. So I don't even know. I was walking out of school there. I was like, I don't even know if I could do another full day of school. I was just really exhausted, and I think it was the sugar.
Yes.
Every kid had 4
Yes.
cupcakes and a bag full of candy.
Which is great. I mean,
Yes.
Anyway. Okay, so tell me about like how you set the culture in your classroom, like beginning of the year. Because like I hear from when I go into schools, by the way, I'm using a new phrase instead of saying like lots of free and reduced lunch kiddos or high poverty school. I'm working on like schools we intentionally divest from, right, as a community. So like when I walk into schools like that, lots of times all I hear is yelling.
Yep, absolutely.
Like, how do you set up your culture in your classroom so you don't have to yell?
That is a good question. I have a student teacher this year, and then
Thank goodness someone's learning from you.
I've been a little bit. You just get a little weird because now you have a student teacher who's going to see everything that you do, and not everybody gets to see everything a teacher does.
Totally.
So, but now, so I'm just a little bit more insecure. I'm like, oh, am I doing this right? We got a young, impressionable 21-year-old that's from the University of Minnesota. And the one thing that I've been trying to do is to just make sure that we are leading with love, right? We teachers, and I'll be the first to say that sometimes you do lose your composure.
You do. Yep.
And then that is my favorite word to use for the kids. I've in the past you hear maybe adults say, well, what's wrong? Why are you doing that? What's wrong with you? We can't do it. It's just like, I've just limited to the word composure. You lost your composure. We need to get it back. You have to be in control of your body, whether it's, blurting out, whether it's, bumping somebody because you're not focused when we're walking in a line. I think that has been one of the things that I just wanted to make sure that we understand is like, we have to have a certain sense of control over ourselves so everybody can feel safe, everybody can smile every day, everybody's gets their learning that they want, even if it's your off day for whatever reason, that you do have to maintain a certain level of composure so everybody can feel good about their day. And then it's a big, I do a family style thing. So, so our classroom is set up and, we got, rows of tables. And then when something like this comes about with, whether it's Valentine's Day or whether it's a celebration, we take every table and we push them together. We kind of make this long family table. So we have, family time is if that's what you would want to call it that, or we're also talking about, the agreements that we all kind of brainstorm at the beginning of the year is this is how we want this classroom to be. Okay. We want everybody to be kind. We want everybody to use their manners. I think our agreements are, there's only 5 of them. And I think the one that catches on that student is just like, if something is not a good situation for you, and this could be whether you're a student or an adult, you just move to a better situation. If I'm on a bus and I'm sitting next to somebody that I don't feel comfortable with, or they're just doing too much, I'm moving to a better situation. I'm moving to the front of the bus, the back of the bus. I'm moving away from a bad situation. So that is the one thing where I would try to empower the students to, when things are not feeling comfortable, and we just need to first get away from that situation, and then we can try to fix whatever the obstacle is. And then, it's obstacles. It's not problems in my classroom. So we're going to get through it. We're going to get over it. We're going to get around it. So it's just a matter of like, here's some new obstacles that we have today. And, today was, everybody's getting cupcakes and, juice boxes. And, at the end of the day, we got to clean up. So we kind of move through these little things and make sure the learning happens. And, and then smile along the way.
You said agreements instead of classroom rules, which I love. Tell me, how did you come about co-creating agreements with them? Like, when did that practice start for you?
I think it's been catching on in the schools and within the district, within certain classroom management strategies that we start to adopt. So I'm not.
You're not like the original.
Yeah, I'm not the OG with it.
Yeah.
But we come together as a class and we come up with like 30, 40 different things, and we get them all out of our heads, get them up on the board. For whatever years it was like, oh, we got to be perfect. We got to do. It was just like, all right, my classroom is not the quietest right now in the hallway, and we're gonna keep moving through. And I'm gonna give reminders, and if those reminders aren't sticking, I'm not gonna lose my composure and be the loudest person in the hallway.
Dang.
And I think that's what I'm kind of showing my student teacher. I'm just like, okay, you do hear that. You can hear that teacher right now, or you can hear that teacher every day at a certain time. It's like, all right, so they're doing that. They have some struggles. They don't. They may not have command of their class, and I don't have command of my class 24/7 either. So I'm not perfect. But I just want to, I try to keep everything, calm and composed and cool, which is another agreement. So I have to follow the agreements as well.
That part.
And then that kind of allows me to not be that loud teacher who may appear to be out of control, but I don't truly know all situations.
That's right. So, sometimes, like, you never. Nothing teaches you not to roll your eyes at a parent in the grocery store, like having a kid having a tantrum in the grocery store.
Absolutely. It's more like, I've been there 3 times.
What's a funny story? Like one that just like, you're just like, oh my gosh, I will never forget this story.
Oh my gosh. That was something I probably should have read the questions before. A funny story.
How about a heartwarming story? Something about one of your kids that's brilliant. By the way, this wasn't in the questions.
Okay,
I know. This is a freebie.
I think one of the things that I've been able to do with some of the organizations that come to Laney, right?
Yeah.
Everybody wants like, oh yeah, what can I do? What can I do? The Lopit Foundation has been a great partnership with us, and they came to us like in my 3rd or 4th year, and they're like, we got a really good situation. We have skis, we have boots, we have poles. We would love to give these to you in your school, or let us use them, and then we'll have a couple coaches, and every season we'll try to get the kids out so they can enjoy Minnesota's winters.
Yeah.
And then we also throw in this big race. And so that has transformed into the Lucy Craft Laney ski team, Nordic ski team, which, COVID kind of shut it down there for a little bit. And we're, still trying to ramp it up. But just to see the parents or some of the teachers also get involved in being on skis, 6-foot pieces of wood and it's though that moment of getting them outside, getting them geared up, getting them to experience the fun. I'm a cross country skier, so I'm a little bit biased, and if it's fun, but we get them out there, and then you really see some students who may struggle in the classroom.
Yes, that's my favorite.
Now they have turned into
Yes.
they're my best skier.
Yes.
And they are so much. It's another way I've connected with the student.
Yes.
And I think that's one thing if I go back to, it would be the relationships with students.
Yes.
I have very good relationships with students. Love you like my kid. I'm going to hold you to high standards. I'm going to be super excited when you have your accomplishments or successes. And then I'm going to show you a little bit of sadness when we aren't achieving what I think we can achieve. But when we get on those skis and you get a kid who just kind of clicks, and now they have turned into maybe a little bit better composure in the classroom,
That's
because
right.
now we have
That's
gotten
right.
them, we've gotten them active, and then we've gotten them outside
And
in the
some
winter
success.
and success. And I think when school's over the winter, a chunk of the school year's in the winter. So, a lot of times it's a lot easier to stay inside and get caught up with, other things, whether it's TV or video games
Yes.
or,
Yes.
but yeah, so that has been, if I was to share one story, I think the cross country skiing program at Laney has really allowed me to kind of open up some more doors for the students, and then just to keep them active, and hopefully we can, keep moving forward with
Academics.
with the academics. Yeah.
Well, do you have any last thoughts? Any last things you want to share about your day?
No. Let me see. I'm super excited to be here. It's my first podcast.
Dun, dun,
I listen to
dun.
podcasts. So I was looking a little nervous. I'm like, I don't know. I used to get made fun of with my voice when I was younger. And I was like, so now when I go back and I listen to it, I'll see like, all right, do I still got some of those tendencies with
interesting.
my voice? Or
I used to get made fun of for being too loud.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And so it turns out like once I was an adult, loud was great for everything. But yeah, I think if you read every single report card I ever had, there were two things. Heather is too loud and she does not sit still.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, which by the way, both of those things have served me very well as adults.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? But
absolutely.
yeah, that's interesting.
No, I think it's a beautiful facility that you have here. And I've just been super appreciative that I was asked to come here.
Yes.
I mean, there's, you're on your second season, and
We're very famous.
right. Yeah.
Right? You can say you knew us when.
Yes. Back. Those are some of the best podcasts. Like you go, but you start, you start from the beginning, and then you see how they've evolved.
Yeah.
So that is another. Yeah. I think no, there's nothing I need to re-talk about. I just, if you have any more space or newer questions or new angles you're trying to take, keep me in mind.
If you ever want to bring a couple students to be on the podcast, we would love that.
Is that something where you would have to, you kind of got to get their
We get a little form.
permissions?
We got a little
and then
form.
You can invite the parents in too, and they get,
sure.
Okay, yeah.
Yes. I mean,
Yeah.
they love it. Kids love it. And then, so we would love to have a couple students and then,
Do you have any students that actually like come and help run?
for that last little bit. But yeah, I think students, in giving them a voice, I'm always fascinated by what they say.
Yeah.
So we would love it. And I just want to say, like, before we leave, I want to thank you sincerely for the work that you do at Laney, for the work you do for those kiddos. They will remember you as the teacher for the rest of their lives.
I think that's my. I mean, you go and it's like, oh, what are you gonna do if you ever quit teaching? I think it's just the legacy. It's the legacy that I'll be known as Mr. Teigland, and there's a lot of families out there that will see me in the grocery store or out there in Minneapolis, and I'm still getting hugs from seniors and
Yep.
moms and dads from 10 years ago. So I think that's kind of what keeps me wanting to be a teacher. I know there's a lot of things out there that I'd be like, maybe I could switch it up a little bit, but I think that's the one thing that keeps me, is just knowing that there is a lot of people out there that really valued myself. So I appreciate you saying that.
All right. Well, we can't wait. We're going to come back again. We're going to see third graders on the podcast. But today, thanks for joining us and belonging in classrooms.
Thank you.